Right. So I will start now.
Okay.
Hi. Oh, okay. Hi, I'm Rebecca. Today, together with my team, I'm excited to present the Alliance Token Program, or ATP for Newlogy. It's a blockchain-driven initiative designed for supply chain sustainability. We are here to tackle the challenge of visualizing carbon emission and boost global recycling rate. Let's start with upstream suppliers. The key challenge here is Scope 3 emission, which is hard to track and measure as they're intricately tied to external supply chain activities. And so far, a unified standard within the consumer goods sector. On the downstream side, package recycling is another hurdle as consumers often lack the motivation or means to recycle effectively. Recognizing those challenges, ATP offers a holistic solution to both upstream enterprises and downstream consumers. By leveraging blockchain, IoT, and cloud computing, our vision is to provide carbon ledgers for upstream suppliers and reward tokens to downstream consumers. So we can create this transparent circular economy where sustainability is within everyone's reach. So now let's dive right into our product, the ATP platform. ATP is powered by a trusted network of partners. For example, Oracle provides the blockchain infrastructure, which enables decentralized real-time carbon tracking across the entire supply chain. With Oracle's enterprise-grade technology, ATP can ensure high performance, scalability, and seamless integration with existing systems across global supply chains. And Ethereum supports the tokenomics of ATP through its decentralized ledger and smart contract, which allow us to issue and manage ATP tokens in a secure and transparent manner. Smart contracts automate transactions like token rewards for recycling and carbon offset verification, ensuring that every step is executed accurately and without intermediaries. Now, after knowing our partners, here's Luo to give you an overview of ATP platform. Welcome, Luo.
Thanks, Yu. Our platform mainly focuses on the two ends of consumer goods supply chain. For the upstream network, we partner with Oracle blockchain. Given their extensive experience in building enterprises blockchain network, the national network we established will be much larger, and we welcome companies committed to sustainability to join us. The national production line upgrades will be funded through our token financing, which will help alleviate the financial burden on small and medium enterprises. By joining our platform, companies can access a large network of high-quality clients and go through a digital transformation, so they have higher operational efficiency and more competitive products and services. For the downstream, we issue tokens in partnership with Ethereum. We will unlock them in a phased manner, and our financial model runs like this. 50% of the token go towards rewarding consumers for recycling, 20% to the investors, and another 13% to cover operational cost. The rest 10% is reserved for the financial adjustments to ensure stability.
Thanks, Luo, for the overview. As you see, the upstream blockchain is the backbone, and the ATP token is the economic engine for our platform. With those powerful tools in place, our platform is not only efficient, but also scalable for business of all sizes. And our structure aligns the financial incentives of all stakeholders, ensuring that suppliers, consumers, and investors all benefit from participation. So with that mission in mind, let's dive deeper into the technical working of ATP. The journey begins with the sourcing of raw materials. IoT sensors are embedded in the equipment to track energy consumption, fuel usage, and emission at the point of origin. For example, if a raw material is extracted via mining, the IoT devices record metrics like energy used per ton of material, CO2 emitted, and other relevant emission data. They are then immediately logged on the blockchain, ensuring that the data is tamper-proof and visible to all stakeholders in real time. After the raw materials are transported to manufacturing sites, IoT devices monitor the production process. They track everything from the energy intensity of manufacturing to the carbon footprint of machinery, production line, and waste generated. This data is automatically updated on the blockchain, which helps manufacturers understand their emission at each stage of production. Once products are manufactured, we come to the packaging and logistics part. Here, the IoT devices track key metrics, including fuel usage, shipment distances, and transportation modes. Smart contracts record emissions as goods move from factories to distribution centers and verify the carbon cost of each shipment. If any discrepancy or gaps in data are identified, the contract will automatically flag them for review. As you see here on the dashboard, this is what a transparent, immutable ledger looks like. All the carbon footprint data across the entire supply chain will be displayed on the public ledger, so our stakeholder gain visibility into Scope 3 emission and can better identify areas for improvement. After the upstream journey, let's delve into the downstream recycling process. Buckle up, here's Wang to take you for that trip. Welcome, Wang.
Thanks, Ziyu. Now imagine that as a consumer, you go to the supermarket purchasing one of the Alliance products, say a shower gel or a shampoo. You want to know more about the product, just scan the QR code on its packaging. You are linked to the detailed product information, its entire journey, from production to packaging. After you use it up, instead of just tossing it into a bin, you are about to take part in something far more rewarding. First, you head to one of our designated recycling stations, conveniently located at places like residential areas or local recycling hubs. These stations are equipped with smart machines that make the recycling process seamless and easy. All you need to do is put the packaging into the machine. It will then verify the material and ensures it meets the required recycling standards. After packaging acceptance, you are rewarded with ATP tokens, which are deposited directly into your digital wallet. These tokens aren't just a gesture, they carry tangible value. You can use them to redeem discounts, buy eco-friendly products from the ATP network, and even trade or invest them as they appreciate.
Thanks, Wang. As you see, the beauty of the token system is that it turns everyday recycling into a game of rewards where you get credit for helping the environment. But the story doesn't end here. After your packaging is scanned, verified, and accepted by the station, it's just the beginning of the reverse logistics. Here, the collected materials are carefully sorted, stored, and sent to recycling points or manufacturing facilities. We transport them back in bulk using optimized routes. At the manufacturing facilities, the recycled materials, whether plastic, glass, or aluminum, undergo cleaning, processing, and remanufacturing. They're transformed into new products or packaging. The whole journey is recorded on its QR code, and key data is uploaded to the blockchain, allowing us to track and calculate the increase in recycling rate. Now, here is Khan to show you how we evaluate carbon footprint across the entire supply chain with both life cycle assessment and third-party monitoring. Welcome, Khan.
Thanks, Ziyu. As shown here in the graph, we apply LCA to evaluate the carbon footprint of a product from raw material to end-of-life treatment. ATP collects activity data for each type of material, process, and transportation mode and matches them with proper emission factors, such as life cycle emission factors. Then industry-recognized calculation methods such as supplier-specific, hybrid, or average data and spend-based approach are employed for different scenarios. These metrics are usually backed by UN framework and industry standards. Beyond that, we incorporate third-party auditors to verify the collected data and the calculation methods, so that we build trust and transparency.
Thanks, Kang. After knowing our platform, let's discuss ATP's impact across 3 dimensions. First, social impact. ATP delivers substantial social benefits by making positive changes. The program creates jobs in areas such as recycling, logistics, and carbon monitoring, providing meaningful employment opportunities. Furthermore, through token rewards, we incentivize more people to recycle, especially in developing regions shown here. Our token mechanism finds its niche. The recycling infrastructure and the environmental awareness are weak in those regions. However, the public acceptance of cryptocurrency is high. So by expanding our system, ATP adds more incentive for sustainable practices and help more countries win the recycling race. And as crypto supporter, Donald Trump won the US election. You know what the future can hold for our project. Besides social impacts, let's focus on the environmental ones. According to the International Resource Panel, currently burning plastic packaging alone contributed to 16 million tons of CO2 emissions. In contrast, global recycling of packaged materials can reduce carbon emissions by 10 to 15%, as recycling 1 ton of PET plastic can reduce 1.5 tons of CO2 emissions, according to European Plastic Association. In Europe, for example, we estimate that if reuse systems for packaging are expanded by just 20% in 2027, it could prevent 1.3 million tons of CO2 emissions, save 2.5 billion cubic meters of water, and reduce material use by 10 million tons annually. And by 2030, a 50% increase in reuse systems could result in 3.7 million tons of emissions avoided, 10 billion cubic meters of water saved, and 23 million tons of materials conserved. So through our package recycling efforts, ATP helps establish a circular economy, significantly reducing waste and improving resource efficiency. Finally, ATP offers significant business impact. By reusing recycled materials, companies can lower their raw material costs and waste disposal costs, which can generate 10 to 20% net savings. On the cost side, it may take higher initial investment to cover the expenses for recycling equipment, staff training, and transportation. However, these costs are expected to break even within 1 year due to operational savings and token-based financing. And as more enterprises join our alliance, economy of scale can further reduce these costs over time. Besides, governments often offer financial support through tax credits or subsidies for businesses adopting sustainable practices. On the revenue end, our sustainability initiative help companies boost brand image, attracting eco-conscious consumers, which can lead to a 5 to 10% increase in sales due to enhanced consumer loyalty and market share. And when combining all those factors, it can translate to a projected 15 to 20% net profit growth within 2 years of implementation. So in conclusion, the Alliance Token Program isn't just a solution, but a future where sustainability won't just be a goal, but a reality. Together, we can turn this vision into reality through one token, one product, and one supply chain at a time. Thank you for your attention. We're open for any questions you may have.
Okay, well, thank you very much for that wonderful presentation. So let's go right into the question and answer period. We'll start with Richard. Richard, can you have any questions for the students?
Just 1 or 2 quick questions.
Yeah.
There's a lot of information to absorb, and thank you very much for this very interesting idea. I was wondering, in terms of the measuring of the impact, you mentioned that the niche for this product would probably, at least at the beginning, be in developing countries that are more receptive to the use of crypto. But the measure of the impact seemed to include, seemed to be more global. Did you do an analysis of the impact in the niche that you're targeting? And I guess related to that would be how that would affect the ROI. In other words, would you be able to generate enough volume in that niche to cover the initial expenses and the operating costs of the system?
Thank you for the question. So I think the question here is also broad because first of all, we talked about our market, which we focus a lot on the developing regions cryptocurrency where cryptocurrency acceptance is high, but infrastructure is weak. And because we focus first here because we think those imperfect systems can best test our product's capability. So that's why we focus a lot on those things. And also you ask about if we can deliver the ROI in terms of a global market. I think it's a very good question because ATP's ultimate goal is to go globe. We don't simply focus on just one region. For example, like you just mentioned the developing regions like Latin Americas or Africa or so on. Actually, our target market would be also North America and Europe because they have better regulation in place as well as better infrastructure. And also people have higher environmental awareness. So yeah, so those two, like I just mentioned, European and North America will be our first target market because people have higher acceptance for cryptocurrency, which makes it easy for us to deliver a project. And we help them, we help those partners get their returns through two ends. First is the cost saving end. As we've shown here, the cost, we help them lower the raw material use cost so they don't have to, like for example, purchase more new materials. They can just use the material we sent back to them. And also we help them lower the waste disposal cost because they don't have to incinerate those or landfill them, which cost a lot of money, but we help them through our recycling program, which helps them lower those costs. So that's the cost side. And also we mentioned the income side, which is the sales growth. So as more consumers get eco-conscious, they choose to purchase from the companies that join our program, which is more environmental, cares more about the environment. So they may see more consumers purchasing their goods, so that drives their revenue. So yeah, to sum up, we just help the market get their ROI through the cost saving and also through the revenue increase. And yeah, I don't know if that answers your question.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Richard. Dr. Liu, do you have questions for the team?
Yeah, thanks very much. I think the team made a very clear and great presentation, and also the PowerPoint slide looks very, very nice and structured. I have one question regarding to your economic model. I heard that you have a, calculated allocation of certain percentage to each of the key area, including, for example, you have 10% of financial adjustment at the end. Now,
yes,
how did you come with this allocation of percentages? Based on existing experiences or some theoretical model, or the structure of logistic and reverse logistics? I just want to understand the logic behind the percentage allocation.
Thank you, Dr. Liu, for the question. So the question here is basically how we make up our tokenomic model, which is the economic engine of our platform. So yeah, I would like to elaborate a bit more on this model. Yeah, as you see here on this graph, we basically divide them into 4 parts. Like the most part will go to the recycling program because that's what the ATP is for. We want to incentivize consumer recycling. So 50% is allocated here, and 20% is allocated. Another 20% is allocated for platform setup, and as well as for investor incentives. And 10% is reserved for the financial adjustment, as you just mentioned. How do we get to this financial model? Basically, the first most important factor is what we value the most. We value the most is the consumer recycling effort. So that's why we allocate the most waste to this part. Also, as you know, in order to drive feasibility for the whole plan, we need to onboard more investors. That means we need to give them more money. In this sense, is our token. So we allocate 20% to that. And also, financial reserve is relatively small. It would give them 10%, but it's also important because, as you see, we may bump into conditions like market volatility. So that may, like inflation, deflation. So that's why we also need to take a consideration of that factor. Yes, this is not the best model because we're still at the initial stage, but we basically reach this conclusion because we look into Ethereum platform, as well as many crypto platform like Solana, maybe Dogecoin or some other Bitcoin platforms. We're also learning along the way to see how best we can deliver interest for our consumers and as well as our partners. Yeah, so we do a lot of research and we are also learning and keep improving on the model. Yeah, I don't know if that answers your question. Thank you again for the great question.
Okay, understand the underlying thinking behind the model. Thanks very much.
Thank you too.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Liu. I'll just follow up with one question.
Yes,
It's about
please.
the investment model, because the initial investor in this system, I believe, is going to be Nulogy, right? So Nulogy is going to be investing whatever it takes to set up the system and then provide this to their clients who are the brand owners. But looking at the ROIs, a lot of the benefits are not necessarily going to Nulogy. So how does Nulogy recoup its initial investment, and how much are we talking about as far as setting up all the infrastructure and the system to do this? And so when you're talking about ROI, are you talking about from the Nulogy perspective?
Thank you. Thank you for the question. So I believe what you're asking is how we involve Nulogy into the whole model and how does Nulogy benefits from our plan. It's also a very good question because basically this project is for the challenge from Nulogy. So we have to consider this big partner. As you see, Nulogy's key mission here is to foster collaboration between big consumer brands and their external supply chains. But they have this challenge of visualizing carbon scope 3 emission and as well as recycle more, as well as incentivize more consumers to recycle. So basically, we take the challenge from Nulogy, like from the upstream side and the downstream side. And Nulogy can benefit significantly from our project because, first of all, Nulogy, we also allocate 20% of our tokens to Nulogy for setting up this blockchain platform. So basically, Nulogy is also one of our biggest stakeholders, as they help us with the network they've already owned, and also they help us connect to our upstream partners like Oracle and Ethereum. So we base this whole plan on the Nulogy's platform because they've already been very successful in building partnerships across the consumer goods supply chain. So as you see, Nulogy not only are our stakeholders so they can gain shares from the token model, but also as we help more enterprises onboard this alliance, we help them optimize their supply chains. So Nulogy can have more clients because people know that Nulogy can tap into new technology like blockchain and token rewards, so that and as well as help small enterprises with digital transformation. So basically, we can help Nulogy attract more clients by for example, raising campaigns about our ATP project. And also, this is not a free project. It means when enterprise say they want to join ATP, we will charge them a small amount of fee, and that fee will also go to Nulogy. So Nulogy will open new revenue opportunities. So the three methods I've mentioned above will give Nulogy extra revenue growth. Yeah, I hope that answers your question. Thank you, Dr. Tham.
Oh, okay. Thank you for that answer. Okay, Richard or Dr. Liu, do you have any final questions for the team?
No, I don't. Thank you very much.
No? Okay. Well, thank you very much for this presentation. It's very interesting, and the results will be announced on December 20th. So best of luck to you all.
Thank you.
Okay, good night.
Good night. Thank
Okay, bye-bye.
you. Good night.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.